when Master Distiller Dr. Lumsden says flutes are the way to go, who am I to question? I'm not a master distiller.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Who is it? Who is it?
It's David.
Oh, there you are. Sorry, it didn't flip.
Hey.
Let me switch views. There we go.
Nice score last night, Kyle.
Yeah. I was shocked when I heard my name, and then I was like panicked because I couldn't figure out how to get off of mute.
I know. I was like, I know he's here. Like, what? Hurry up. Yeah, that was an interesting process, but it was fun.
Yeah, it's to be honest with you, after the second name, I didn't hear. It was on in the background for a while, and I just left the call because
I got called about. I didn't mean to keep track. I was probably halfway through. I ended up with Blanton's, but which was okay. But
it's something. I mean,
yeah, it's more than nothing.
You know, last year, so I actually split the membership with my neighbor, and last year we did all right. I mean, we didn't get anything great. Like, I think if you're not drawn in the first dozen or so each drawing, it's down to the regular allocated stuff. But I mean, you're 1 in 100 chance of getting.
Yeah, and you're getting regular allocated stuff without the hassles.
Right. Exactly. So it's not all bad. It's not great. It's not as good, but
yeah.
Hey, Joe.
Well, I think I measured this all out right. I was panicking. I couldn't find my old milliliter when I was home brewing beer. I had do precise measurement things.
I had to hunt. I used a syringe.
Yeah, that's kind of what I ended up
using your drug needles.
That was the first syringe I bought to inject pork butt with. No, it wasn't up to task, so it sat in a cabinet forever.
Like, are you outside?
Yes, my kid also, because my kid also has a Zoom meeting right now, and she's in the 2nd grade. Those things get loud. And also, I don't want her teacher knowing that I'm drinking bourbon at 11 o'clock in the morning. It's fine though. I have
the best. The palates are at the best before lunch.
It's mouthwash.
Yeah, sure.
Bourbon flavored mouthwash.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It's part of your job, isn't it? I mean, that's kind of what you do.
I mean, yeah, you're right. It's gonna be hard to explain that to a bunch of 2nd graders.
So this is it, right? Just 4 of us?
Yeah, unless Brian wants to join, but there's only 4 of us tasting.
Okay, I doubt he's going to join. So I've got a Word doc up that I can take down our tasting notes as we go.
Okay.
One of the things that really pissed me off in the Kansas City Bourbon Whiskey Club was every time they did these picks, nobody had any tasting notes of what they tasted. So
yeah, that's sort of key, having tasting notes.
It helps. Tastes like bourbon, we think.
Ooh, caramel.
Amazing.
It didn't even taste like bourbon. Just bad.
Ta. Terrible. Ass.
That's pretty good, Joe. Is that off the cuff?
Yeah, it was off cuff. Actually didn't separate these out.
Joe wasn't prepared again.
I was on a phone call. But so what'd you guys do? 12 ounces or 12 milliliters?
Yeah, so what I did, I put 12 mils in 3 separate Glens that I'll dilute down, and then the others I'm just going to pour in my Norland as we go through the barrel proof. I assume we'll do the barrel proof first, but it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of poured all in 1 Glencairn each sample, and then I pulled out 12 into the other Glencairn and then diluted already.
Sure.
So you already diluted yours, David?
Yeah.
I have not.
I was just.
I'm assuming it didn't take much, but most of them were like barely over 120, weren't they?
Yeah.
The B was 132. I think that was B.
Yeah, B.
1 second. B is 132.4, and the other one's 124. Yeah.
So 1/2 ml on 2 of them and 1.5 mils on B.
What was that?
What I've learned is 20, if you want to do it by drops, 20 drops is 1 milliliter. So technically 10 drops is a half.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's kind of some really interesting calculations out there to figure out dilutions and into that science nerdy stuff.
I didn't realize one thing I did actually learn when the master distiller at Todd did a video when they, poured the barrels and proofed them down. I didn't realize proof is dependent on temperature. It's like when they put the hydrometer or whatever that thing is, the floating.
Yeah.
There's like a temperature conversion chart that they had to use to see like what the real proof was.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's that's still it works for beer too. Same process.
All right. So we're doing barrel proof first. Did you guys even put any water in the 121.1?
I just went by your chart. Your chart said one milliliter, so I did a half.
Okay. That makes sense.
Or you would think it would be a little different than 124, but
yeah, they're clearly not super concerned with how accurate you are.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how different is the dilution from the barrel proof.
So 1.5, 1 and 1, or 1.5, 1.5. Is that right?
Yep.
That's what I was. So B is the 1.5, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You said a dropper is like 1 milliliter.
At 20 drops is one milliliter. So half of that would be 10.
All right. Math is hard. Of course, it's probably a lot easier if, everyone's in the same place and you're using the kit that they send you. Not COVID style.
Right. All right, I'm ready.
Okay. So we're doing barrel proof first or second?
First.
Molly, is that a yes?
Yeah. What's the proof on this first one?
121.1.
124.5 is A.
Oh, do
Is
I have-
C is the 121. At least that's what I wrote.
Yep, that is. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a picture of the proofs.
Here, I'll send it to you. That's it.
124.5 is that what you said, David?
Yeah.
And then B was 130 what?
132.4.
And C was 121.1.
Uh-huh.
Anyone else getting a shit ton of pear?
I never get pear.
I get so much pear. Like an overwhelmingly ridiculous amount of pear, both in the nose and in the palate. Like mid palate.
Like an overripe pear. Like a mushy
In the
pear.
nose, yeah. See, in the nose, to me, I think it smells like an early pear, like a pear picked just before ripeness. But in the palate, it's almost cooked.
I can see that the alcohol is finally opening up a little bit.
For sure.
Yeah, I poured my other ones early, but the barrel proofs I didn't pour out.
I don't like that though.
Yeah, I don't get a whole lot of anything else on the nose, to be honest.
I get a lot of heat.
Yeah.
I get
some
like
nutty,
fresh wood. Like,
but I get something. I definitely get a fruit on the palate. I can't register it as pear, but
Yeah, to me, that's the overwhelming flavor. And there's something sort of savory in the finish that I can't quite put my finger on.
it kind of reminds me of like a Easter ham or something a little bit.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
Like, like a glazed ham kind of smell.
Yeah, like there's a fattiness there.
But don't get any of those classic bourbon notes. No cherry, no vanilla, no.
None.
Mm-mm.
None.
That's interesting.
I also am not getting any like nuttiness, which I get often in the Knob Creek stuff.
I get it on the nose. I don't get it anywhere else though. Maybe I need to get out of a champagne flute.
Hey man, I'm not here to argue with the experts, okay?
Isn't that a Coppola in the Scotch world?
Lumsden, Dr. Bill Lumsden at Glenmorangie.
Yeah.
And listen, I've tried like every glass out there, and I'm telling you, flutes are where it's at.
I have to check that out.
Keep telling you.
Well, too bad I've had 36 of the Bourbon Trail glasses on back order for how long has that been, Joe? 2 months?
3 weeks? Has it been? That's been Thanksgiving. No, before that.
It was like the first or second week of November. Yeah, a month maybe. Month and a week or so.
The finish on this is actually pretty mild. I
agree, but I think it's also kind of lengthy. Like it lasts for a minute.
Yeah.
But it's not harsh. It's not palate wrecking by any means.
And I will say like a minute into the finish, I do start to get like a little bit of cherry, but like just a touch.
dare I say, smooth.
Oh my god!
I mean, that's what smooth is, though, right? I mean, that's.
I mean, if you're gonna use smooth in a bourbon, I guess this would be the one. But
Yeah, smooth at 124 though is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Molly, I get that too. It's like a Luden's type cherry, like more
You got it.
medicinal.
Yep, on the nose. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's like the oak kind of crossing with it.
Maybe.
Because it's.
I get the oak on the back end.
I get more of the oak on the
Very
finish.
mild though. Now I want to go buy a pear and cut it in half, eat half fresh, and then cook one.
You've missed the best part of pear season. Bartlett pears have been in season for about 6 weeks, and they are fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
My
old house, we had 4 Bartlett pear trees, and we would have just 5-gallon buckets of pears. And
they're so good.
Problem with pears, though, they go ripe really fast. So
yeah.
If you put them in the fridge, I can get mine at Aldi. If you put them in the fridge as soon as you buy them, you can keep them in there for several weeks and set them out on them to ripen up.
I've never thought about freezing fruit like that.
This just in the fridge.
Oh, in the fridge.
Yeah.
So moving on to B, or do we want to do the diluted A?
I think we should do all the diluteds consecutive.
Okay.
But that's my opinion. I've not done a ton of these. And I've never done one where we had to proof it down.
I think it might actually be interesting to do all the barrel proofs across and then revisit. Typically I have done them back to back, but I think that there can definitely be some bias going straight from the barrel strength to the proofed down. So maybe going barrel proof all the way across and then into the diluted might be a better option.
Okay.
Do you guys want me to consolidate some tasting notes now? You want to do it at the end? How you want to do it?
Why don't we just throw what we thought about that one out there first, and then
I think that's a good idea.
So I got a little bit of the Knob Creek Jim Beam nuttiness on the nose. I know you said you didn't, but I did get that. It was a really good, for me, kind of a fresh fruit in the middle. I can't say pear per se, but that's what I got, and it was kind of bright in the middle for me. And then on that back end, I did get a little bit of the cherry nut. It wasn't very pronounced for me, but I did get a pleasant amount of oak in the back end. That was normally I don't like oaky finishes, but this one was just enough to say, hey, I'm here.
Here. Present. Yeah, so I got on the nose, I didn't get a whole lot other than the pear kind of fresh fruit kind of thing. I got the Luden's cherry that Molly got is light. It's not like, oh, it's cherry. It's kind of subtle. And then like Joe said, that kind of mild oak, but it's a long finish. It's not harsh, but it's long.
Yeah. I think for me, first impression, it was overwhelming alcohol on the nose. And then the pear and that glazed ham kind of smell came in. And then for me in the finish, it had that fruit note, but it was all wood for me on the finish. That's kind
all
of
wood. Is that what you said?
Different from other Knob Creeks I'm familiar with, so it was different.
Yeah, I agree. I think it really didn't fit the Knob Creek profile for me really at all. Honestly, on the nose, I thought I had to stick my nose in there several times because I thought it smelled really, really light. Like I was expecting it to have a super, super light body, and I got just tons of just underripe pear and like honeysuckle in the nose. And then that first sip, obviously, to me was overwhelming, like alcohol, like, but not in a bad way. I actually got the wood in the front, and then it just exploded into this like cooked pear in the center, and then finished like umami-ish. Like I totally get that glazed ham thing. That totally makes sense to me. And then crazy, crazy long finish in a very soft, inviting way. And then just that little bit of cherry right at the end if you just let it happen.
Yeah, it's far enough back there that you almost would stop thinking about it, tasting.
You'd easily miss that little bit of cherry in the end if you weren't really like evaluating, if you weren't really looking for it.
Right. Okay. Ready to move on to B?
Yep.
Do it.
So B is the one that was on the opposite side of the rick house.
In the top rick, right?
In the top rick.
All right, well, that one smacked me in the face.
Well, this is the 134 point.
Yeah, but there's a lot going on there.
I don't get much on the nose on this.
Not anything super surprising.
It's more classic bourbon than the first one.
Yeah, like I'm getting a ton. On the nose, I get a ton of like overripe, like dark cherry and orange zest.
I get the cherry big time. I get like a dark cocoa nib kind of thing too going on too.
See, I'm getting that in the palate, but I'm not getting it in the nose.
Yeah, I get it in the palate as well.
Getting like a sweeter, like caramel or like.
It's got like almost like a brown sugar to me.
Yeah.
It's like we've been doing a lot of holiday baking and this week, and it's reminded me of that brown sugar. And
yeah, same. I actually I wrote down shortbread cookie, toffee brickle, and Oreo cream.
I love your taste.
Oreo cream.
I'm not gonna love it. Like
it's there, I'm telling you.
Called holiday cookie.
Why not?
I mean, that's what it's reminded me of, though. It's reminded me of baking cookies.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So is that what I'm registering as something buttery on the nose?
And for the proof, it's
pretty. It's soft
like,
entry for the proof.
Yeah, I was expecting some burning going on. And
I actually really like that one.
Nice.
I do too. I like it a lot.
As
great as pears and glazed ham sounds.
I mean, I really liked that first one, but there's something just super nostalgic about all of the flavors that I'm getting in this.
Someone who's never done this before, I'm pretty impressed. We got vastly different things already.
Yeah, it's almost always like that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Very, very different.
I like how it explodes onto your palate. Like it's comes in so soft and then just.
Yeah, and then the finish isn't really hot. Like you would think when it does that, that the finish ends up really kind of harsh and bitter usually.
Yeah.
But
Getting something a little think about it, but
a little what?
tannic. God, I'm really wondering what this is going to be like watered down.
Yeah.
I want a bigger sample of that one.
Same.
I'm trying to save just a little bit for
I saved a little bit to revisit. There's a lot going on in that, and
so much.
That's the one Joe shorted me on.
Oh, Joe.
It was my smallest vial.
You know what? Now that I think of it, that's the one he shorted me on too. That was my smallest one.
Funny.
Joe's saving the Hy-Vee stuff.
And for the record, I had about 26 ounces in mine. I measured, so that's where it went.
He's got it.
We just kind of winged it, didn't we?
Well, considering I picked it up 20 minutes before I got it to either one of you. So.
Yeah. You want to do a recap on that, or?
Yeah.
You want to go ahead?
I mean, for me, the aroma had that cherry, classic bourbon cherry note, and then I kind of had this dark cocoa nib, and then it kind of reminded me of cookies on the palate. I had more of a cocoa nib, not straight chocolate, brown sugar, cherry, and then just kind of a really nice, long on the finish. Nice warming, more of a warming note than a burn on the finish.
Joe?
I thought the nose was pretty soft, and I really couldn't pick a whole lot out of it at first. I thought it was more like maybe like a buttery pie crust that had a little bit of the fruit fillings in it. Other than fruit and something else on the palate, it just kind of hit me really fast, and so much going on, and I didn't want to drink it all, so I didn't really get anything out of that other than it explodes onto the palate with fruits and something else I couldn't register at the time. On the finish, it was long, slightly tannic for me. Obviously a little bit more oak than the last one, I think, for me, but that's all I got.
Molly?
Yeah, I thought the nose was pretty traditional. I got just tons of overripe, like dark cherry, and like a lot of orange zest, almost like a burnt orange zest. And then up front, it initially to me was like very classic, like hard butterscotch candy, like the kind in the yellow wrapper. And then it just immediately exploded into this like shortbread cookie, toffee brittle, Oreo cream, dark chocolate. That's what I got on there. And then I also thought that the finish on this one was also pretty lengthy, but not in like a hot, oh my God way, just in a very soft, I'm still kind of here. And then right towards the end of the finish, I got like that classic red candy apple that kind of melted into almost a caramel apple, but way in the finish. Just kind of like with the last one, way in the finish. Like you could almost miss it.
What were your cookies in the middle in the flavor?
Shortbread primarily.
I need to eat more snacks.
Guys, this tastes like last year's Christmas Oreos.
Girl Scout caramel delights, but not the caramel delights you think of. The Samoas, circa 2010.
The vintage.
That's this year's birthday bourbon. I'm telling you, tastes just like caramel delights.
Fuck.
I'll bring you a sample.
God, don't, because then I'm gonna have to buy one. I love caramel delights.
It was overwhelming. It was like overwhelmingly like, this is Girl Scout cookies, no question.
Oh God. Hold on, I gotta put an in search of up real quick.
I said I didn't get a whole lot anything different than I think what you guys said. Brown sugar on the nose, cherry, kind of that like chocolate, like kind of darker chocolate, like David said. It's really soft entry, but then like Joe said, it's just it explodes, but it's like kind of all at once. It was hard to pick things out of there.
Yeah.
Cherry on the finish, like early, and then kind of into that medium oak, just pleasant fade. I didn't get anything at the end like Molly did.
Not everybody can have a Rain Man palate.
What does that even mean, Joe?
Nancy Fraley over here.
Meaning, like you just like skiing, like imagine you put bourbon to your lips and then it's just like everything just starts popping up in front of you. Cherry pie, like
it lights up like a Wonka's chocolate factory machine.
Right. Like as the flavors hit your palate, it like comes out of your mouth and like visualizes itself in front of you.
It does, to be completely honest. It really is like a full body experience for me. So it'd be interesting to see what my brain activity does when I'm drinking bourbon.
If we ever make shirts, yours is gonna say Rain Woman on it.
I'm good with that.
Woman. Well, beautiful mind.
Going with C?
Yeah.
That was different. So this barrel is actually right next to barrel A.
Yeah.
Literally right next to it.
I'm having a similar experience, but different.
Yeah, I agree. Weird.
Ooh.
The mouthfeel on this one is different than the other two.
Yeah.
Like more creamy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coats.
Oily.
Yeah.
feel like this one's a little more aggressive than the other ones.
Incredibly aggressive.
And it's the least proof of the
Lowest proof, yeah.
I think the oak on this one is just ridiculously overpowering.
Yeah, that's all I get is oak and vanilla. It's kind of
Yeah, me too.
vanilla would
Me
be
too.
from the oak.
And it's almost like like either an imitation vanilla or like a vanilla extract and too much of it.
It's reminding me of some sort of dessert I can't quite place.
Yeah, this is the fruitiest nose to me of all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought the first one had the fruitiest nose.
Yeah, I get something bready, almost doughy on here.
Now you said doughy. That's pizza dough, fresh pizza dough.
Oh, that's the Ta description. Don't say
Oh.
No, that one was like sawdust and like somebody dumped sawdust into bread dough.
Yeah.
Different. Like this is like actually like maybe pie dough or like a pot pie crust.
Like again,
Ooh.
I've been making fresh dough. It kind of has some of that quality.
Yeah, it's like apple pie is kind of what I get. Well, not the cinnamon, but like the
Tart pears, like pear or apple.
Yeah.
More
I typed crisp apple.
I get that. I get where you're getting apple pie like way in the finish. But for me, like front to mid palate, it's nothing but oak. It's just a ton of oak.
See, on the palate, the first thing I got was that it was much harsher than the other ones. It actually choked me up a little bit. But I got medicinal fruit and vanilla on the palate, and it's not just like medicinal cherry. There's something else, but it was busy choking on my bourbon.
That apple's coming through on my last sip there. It's hidden kind of behind that oak and vanilla for me, but I can see the fruit now. It was pretty harsh at that first sip. It was. But it reminded me a lot of the first one though too, as far as it had kind of that harsh aroma for me initially, but
Personally, there's something about this one I just don't like.
Of the three, it's my least favorite thus far.
I agree completely. Like if there's one to throw out at this juncture without having tasted it proofed down, it's definitely this one.
yeah.
Let's hope the other two don't come down to this level when they're proofed down. I mean, this is 121, so it's barely,
This one was 124, and if you nose it again, it's
the first one 124.
Yeah, so it's not that far off. Well, we all definitely agree that the last one was definitely the worst of the bunch so far.
Yeah, I've got pretty short description typed here. You're gonna go around the table again, or is it pretty short?
Well, we may as well write it down anyway. So on the nose, I got raw dough, raw pie dough, maybe a pot pie crust. I deal with those a lot, so I know what that smells like. On the palate, I got a very harsh entry. Either that or it was right after the entry. And then I got a little bit of a blast of medicinal fruit and vanilla. Really just kind of was uninterested in getting into the finish that I just didn't even write anything down. So
For me, it was pretty harsh up front, blast of alcohol, just a lot of vanilla and oak through the palate as well. I got a little bit of that apple on the finish, but overall, it was just kind of one note. The oak, I think, overpowered. on this one.
It's turned almost piney to me on the finish at the end, like as it's. Go ahead, Molly.
Yeah, for the nose, I wrote down tree fruit, specifically pink lady apples. But I also wrote down an unpleasant perfumey smell. Like almost reminded me of that bottom shelf night that we did.
Oh,
God.
Yeah. So immediately I was already sort of like, oh no, I'm not gonna like this.
all that look on your face.
But yeah, I wrote down tons of oak, vanilla extract, too much of it. I will say the one redeeming quality was I did like the mouthfeel. I liked that creamy body, but for me that was pretty much it. I got a little bit of like a nice like sort of baking spice apple pie in the finish, but I don't know that it was enough to redeem it.
Okay. Polish this off.
All right, so what do you want to do now?
Go straight back through.
Do you want to go in reverse? Do you want to start back at A?
I think we should start back at A.
I agree.
So that there's like some, disconnect.
Yeah. Distance from that one.
We're going back to A, barrel proof.
A proof down to 120.
Oh, the diluted?
Yep.
Okay.
Interesting.
Molly, I'm getting your honeysuckle this time.
Yeah. In the nose or in the palate?
In the nose.
I'm getting it in both.
I haven't tasted it yet. That the Jim Beam nuttiness is coming out too. It's more classic Jim Beam Knob Creek than the barrel proof was. Which is weird because it's not that far off.
You're getting like walnuts? Is that what you get when you describe that as? That's kind of what it reminds me of.
Walnut and maybe like peanut. I would say probably more walnut than peanut, but
You get more of the pear now that.
Yeah,
It's one
definitely.
me rephrase that. The pear is more noticeable to me now that it's watered down.
See, and the pear's gone away for me.
Yeah, I have completely lost the pear. There's no pear now.
Weird. I also get like a soft vanilla on the nose. Somewhere deep in there. Only out of my left nostril. That cherry comes through a lot more for me on the back end of this water down.
I was trying to decide, and this is going to sound stupid, if it's more cherry or if the cherry's completely gone. Like
I've
don't get cherry.
I've lost it. To me, this has almost no fruit in it once it's proof down.
I think the medicinal Ludens cherry that you were talking about on the back end for me is more noticeable now than it was before, and it's more pronounced early on in the finish for me. But I mean, it's just sitting on my tongue right now. But
I kind of see where you're getting that. I'm just sort of overwhelmed in the fact that for me, the flavor palette completely changed, proofed down.
I don't get much in the palate at all.
I don't either.
Really?
It's kind of bourbon.
Kind of bourbon.
I'm like,
Like
I was thinking like, have I wrecked my palate already? I'm like, I don't taste anything in the middle of this.
I'm gonna go with the Robert Brown tasting notes. Smells like vanilla, smooth bourbon.
It's awesome.
You guys will love it. You should
You
try
guys
it.
love the Todd. We got so good at we bought 2 barrels because we couldn't pick between the 2. So you're telling me your palates are trash and extra trashed.
They had to have been drunk when they did that tasting.
No, what they had to have done is they didn't want to like leave the guy empty-handed after him coming all the way up here to do a tasting with 2 barrels. And
We didn't have to buy both.
You think you got one in for free, and that's why they did it for charity?
Just BOGO night.
I mean, seriously, like the distillery's like, yeah, we know this is shit, but you can have it.
I would have never put my name on that. No fucking way.
To me, my opinion is they were smoking cigars, and because it's got all the like smoky, just ruin your palate kind of thing when you're picking something out. But I don't know. That was so disappointing when I opened that bottle up. So disappointing.
A glass of that would
I'm glad we
almost,
split it.
What's that?
a glass of that would almost make me puke.
I've got samples if you guys want. Like 9 total. Brian Cheney gave me all of his toss samples because if there's any good ones in here, let me know. So Brandon Collins, Riley, and I did a tasting with all of them. And the club pick, both of them, dead last. Of 9 total tough samples, dead fucking last. You're telling me that you picked 2 barrels? 2! And they were worse than every sample that I got. I'm like, oh my God. It's fucking
Knowing what we know now, we should have known.
Hmm.
We should have known. Oh well.
Screw that.
Yeah, this one's just not very impressive to me.
Mm-mm.
I got the pear right away on my first smell. More like a pear cider, like open up a perry. But then I kind of got the walnuts. I got a little bit of a honey on the palate. And then I got a little bit of vanilla on the finish, but that was about it. It was kind of like I had to find those things. What's up?
I'm allergic to plums. It was
All right.
bad. Can I have my phone? I did my math.
No. Young teenager. You guys have kids?
I have 2
Yep.
teenage girls.
How old? You guys, I know, Kyle, I know you got a little one.
Yeah, he's 16 months, 17 months.
And that's the golden age. They're so sweet. They're so perfect. They do no wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I'm surprised
then they
my
grow
daughter-
up.
Yeah. I had to take her phone away yesterday, and she's be 17 in January, so that's where we're at.
Can't wait.
Ready to kick her out.
Yeah, Joe just called me the other night bitching about his.
That's because my youngest is just hitting that puberty stage. She's just super emotional, and man, she didn't want it. She's at that point where she won't eat anything if she doesn't have it in her head that it's what she wants to eat. So she didn't eat all day, 2 days ago, and then I picked her up, and she was just being super bitchy. Actually, she hung up on me on the phone, and I was like, I'm not even calling her back. I'm gonna snatch her up. I'm like, whoa! She was being snotty and just in general, and then she hung up on me, and I about lost my shit. I couldn't. Even, normally I'd call her back and be like, don't ever hang up on me, but I was like, man, if I call her right now, I'm gonna say some shit that I'm never gonna be able to take back. So,
So he called me instead.
I gotta tell somebody. Can't yell at your kids in that fashion.
It's with COVID too, them being home, it's awful for teenagers.
Right.
I'm sure it's bad for the younger kids, but it's a whole nother level. Anyways, back to bourbon.
Gonna go around the table here.
Yep, let's do it.
Okay.
So I'll go first on this one. I did get some of that Jim Beam, the walnut peanut-y nuttiness. I did get the honeysuckle that Molly said in the first one. After that, I didn't get anything. Like, it's just bourbon.
Yeah.
As bad as that sounds.
There's nothing special about it.
No.
I thought the barrel proof version was much better, but I got peanuts. I mean, I wrote down nutty at first, but then the aftertaste on the nose, sorry, not the aftertaste, but eventually it turned into peanuts for me. I did initially get a little of the pear that you talked about that I didn't get in the first one. And then I got a little bit of soft vanilla very briefly on one side of my nose, which was weird. And then I got sweet oak and vanilla on the palate, but I didn't really think the sweet oak was like in a good way. It was sweet and oak, but it wasn't like, oh, that's like a pleasant oak. It was a tannic oak that had sweet vanilla notes to it. And on the back end, I got the cherry Ludens we talked about on the barrel proof that kind of sat on my tongue a lot more, which is surprising because I would have thought in the barrel proof that it would have been more pronounced. But it watered down, it sat on my palate a little bit longer, watered for some reason. But
Molly?
overall, unimpressive.
Yeah, I was less impressed with the proofed down version than with the barrel proof. I completely lost the pear. I thought it was annihilated. I did get in the nose, I was getting like fruit tarts, like the pastries, like pastry cream and like tropical fruit, which was weird to go from pear to tropical fruit, but okay, that happened. And then in the palate, to me, it was mostly like pie crust. I was getting a lot of like cinnamon sugar pie crust and something almost reminiscent of like French toast and maple syrup. But I thought that it was surprisingly more harsh. I thought that it finished like it was still that very long finish, but the first time around at barrel proof was really pleasant, and then proofed down, I thought, man, this kind of sucks. This
I'd
finish
agree with
is
that.
painful.
I actually thought I mixed up one or A and C. That's initially what I thought when I picked it up.
That's weird because I thought the same thing. The finish seemed more harsh proof down than it did barrel proof.
Yeah, that was the thing that really stood out to me, like why this should not be happening, but there it was.
And pretty bland on the finish. Oh.
Yeah, I really didn't get a whole lot in the finish other than why is this so harsh? This shouldn't be harsh. The first one was so pleasant. This has less alcohol. It doesn't make sense.
This is weird.
On the B.
And on the B.
I want to go first on this one. Whenever we get to that point. Awfully quiet. Everybody just enjoying it.
I'm almost afraid to like influence people's perception because I'm getting so much.
Right.
Okay, let us go first because you're like the crazy palate person.
Okay, well,
Oh no, you let us go first.
oh, okay.
Don't color our opinion.
Probably safe. Probably safe.
All right. I think this is better than the barrel proof down. It's very consistent. Like everything I get in the nose, I get in the palate and the finish. Dark cherry, chocolate, like a fresh baked pie on the nose. Almost all the same things on the palate, but like a bright fruit, like the orange that I think you get a little bit on the nose comes more prominent to me. And then just long, pleasant finish from that fruitiness kind of fades to like a darker, like baking spice, brown sugar to oak. I really like this one.
See, I wrote down buttery fruit pie, apple maybe. I didn't get any cherry, not on the nose at least. I felt the entry on it was sweet and creamy. There was a nice heat. The explosion isn't quite as explosive as it was in the barrel proof, but it definitely allows you to register a lot more. I definitely got some cherries and some of that, like you said, on the nose, the same notes. I think I was too caught up in the palate to register what was going on the finish, but it is long and it's still slightly tannic, but not as tannic as it was before in barrel proof, for me anyway. But no, I agree. I really like this one. And I think the silence in the was pretty telling.
Yeah. For me, I think I got the apple pies and the aroma. The cherry wasn't as much. It was more of an apple for me on the aroma. Palate, it seemed more sweet. I kind of got more of a butterscotch toffee kind of flavor.
Okay.
But again, the finish was really nice. It kind of just started off kind of light and then just kind of gradually built. Was nice. That's kind of what I got out of it, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
All right, Molly, let's have it. I'm ready.
Okay, so what I got was way different from what you guys got. Like, I guess that's no surprise. But in the nose, I immediately started thinking desserts because I was getting a lot of like salted caramel and like toasted nut, like walnuts and pecans. So almost like
candy.
Almost not candy, just like toasted, like almost like if you took walnuts or pecans and threw them in a pan and just like dry toasted them. That's what I was getting with like this salted caramel. So
I get
almost
salted
like
caramel now as I smell it, as you're saying.
Yeah, I was almost getting like pie in the nose.
I think we all got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for me it wasn't fruit. It was more like caramel nuttiness. But in the palate, for me, it went right back to cookies, but like a different kind of cookie. So like in the barrel proof, I was getting like a lot of shortbread. In this one, I was getting like accidental overbaked sugar cookies. Like you wanted them to be big and soft and fluffy, but they actually turned out to be thin and crispy, but that wasn't a bad thing. Like they're still really good. And then you just went ahead and you took those like over crisp sugar cookies and stuffed them full of like a peanut butter frosting.
Peanut butter.
Record this shit. We just need to record these.
I am recording this right now, actually.
You are? Oh my God. I'm so glad that somebody thought to do that.
Yeah.
Thank
my
goodness.
Zoom account's set to record these. Yeah.
Good.
When someone calls us out, we got,
Right. I really liked the finish. To me, it was like really long and like pleasantly warm, not like hot, just like warm. And this part even I thought was a little bit crazy, but I got like a cream cheese frosting in the finish. I don't know. But yeah, to me it's like, I don't know, this is like pie and cookies
really complex.
and it's very, very complex, which I super appreciate.
And I think when you get those, it lends itself to having like different people get completely different things out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we're all in the same general area, though. We're all thinking desserty kind of thing, and
Yeah, just
you know.
slightly different desserts, I think.
Yeah, we're all kind of we're just picking out things from our experiences. Like, okay,
For
I
sure.
will say this is a far cry from anything I've had in Knob Creek.
Agreed, 100%.
all right, let's see what C does. See if it can contend.
It's gonna have to do some major catching up.
You run out of flutes over there, Molly?
Oh no, I have plenty of flutes, don't you worry.
I don't know what it is. There's something in this one that makes my stomach like turn.
I think this is a huge improvement on watered
It
down.
agreed, but it's still
Actually, I
something
think
that
it's very interesting. Honestly, outside of the nose, I think it's a very interesting pour.
Yeah, I think the nose is super boring, but the palate is a million times better proofed down than it was at barrel proof.
It's definitely more complex.
which is weird because it went from 121.1 to 120 supposedly.
It's strangely sweet.
It's really
Yeah.
sweet.
I
kind
agree.
of got a little more of the cookie thing going on.
Yep. My wife makes these they're called Pride of Iowa cookies. It's like coconut and pecan, kind of like an oatmeal cookie base, but without oatmeal. It replaces with coconut and pecan.
Huh.
They're really good. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, dip them in chocolate. You basically got a German chocolate cake cookie.
Kinda, yeah. It's
right?
without the chocolate. But yeah. If she makes some, I'll bring some up to you, David.
Yeah, that sounds good. It's Pride of Iowa. I know so many Iowa people. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
What part of Iowa are you from?
I don't know. It's her grandma's recipe, so I don't know where she got it, but that was the name that was on the recipe. I'll snap a picture of it and send it to you. The Iowans might call them something different. It's actually better the longer that I knows it. It's pleasant. It's just hard to pick anything out.
Yeah. I mean, other than the palate being sweet, there's nothing really jumping out at me on the palate. But the one thing that jumps out at me on this is for me on the back end, the medicinal cherry is just like parked on my palate right now.
Yeah, for me that finish presents kind of like a candied fruit leather, like the kind you'd find in like the organic section.
It turns really tannic oak for me.
This is pretty much like if I took a shot of NyQuil and this is the aftertaste that it left me, only sweeter. I mean, it's not unpleasant, but it's like
NyQuil thing. That's not a bad description there, actually. It's kind of after you've taken the NyQuil and it's just kind of sitting in.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it's doing for me. Well,
NyQuil. Adding it to the notes. Okay, go ahead.
So on the nose, still doughy to me. It's definitely sweeter, and there's some sort of fruit in there. But the doughy note is the most pronounced for me. On the palate, it's sweet, bready oak is what I got. It's definitely sweet, but I can't pick out anything else. I mean, it's better than it was barrel proof, even though it's only like 1.1 difference. But and then the medicinal cherry comes in pretty fast for me on that, and it's kind of heavy, lingering medicinal cherry for me is what I've got written down.
So like cherry NyQuil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not quite cherry NyQuil. It was like aftertaste of cherry NyQuil.
The aftertaste of medicinal cherry NyQuil.
So for me on this, I think it was very similar to the barrel proof. I still got a lot of the vanilla. It was just toned down a little bit. Didn't have as much heat. I got more of that. I did get more of that sweetness. I would call it more of a sugar cookie, kind of what I was getting out of it. And then I also kind of got that NyQuil cherry finish on the end. Kind of more classic bourbon flavors of vanilla cherry, but nothing too complex about it.
Agreed. So I got the nose was pretty light. It was hard for me to pick anything out at first, and then I got into like the Pride of Iowa cookies I was talking about, kind of that sweet baked cookie. Not a lot on the palate. I thought the finish starts fairly light too, but then it turns really harsh for me. Like I said, tannic oak. But I'm not getting the cherry that Joe was talking about.
Yeah, I really didn't get a whole lot of fruit at all in this one. I do think that it is significantly better proofed down than it was at barrel proof, which is so weird. The nose I did still think was kind of perfumey, but in like a less offensive way. And I weirdly got sunflower kernels in the nose. Didn't get it in the palate at all, but I got it in the nose. And the palate for me was kind of like a creamy pie, like peanut butter pie, like a French silk pie, like so not like a dark chocolate, but like a very light, like a light creamy chocolate. And then all the fruit for me happened in the finish, and it was very like not so much NyQuil, but more like fruit leather, like a very concentrated fruit, but like not like a fruit roll-ups fruit leather, like an organic fruit leather. But still, sort of underwhelming to me.
So you want to give your rankings?
BCA for me.
I'm sorry?
BCA.
Dave, BCA. Molly?
I would say BAC.
Kyle?
Hold on, I'm typing these down. I would say BAC as well.
And I'm in agreement there. I'm gonna go BAC as well, and then I think it's hands down B for me.
Hands
Same.
down.
I wrote it down.
It's like
Both
B
on.
and A and C are kind of.
Yeah, A and C are like pretty close, but I think if A and C are like competing right here, B's like way up here.
What's the what's the card for B?
Let me grab the cards real quick.
1-2-2-1-1-B.
So B is the one that's on the opposite side of the rick house, on the higher rick.
That's not surprising, literally.
Not at all.
It's so I mean, it's on the outer side. It's the furthest out it's on the outer wall of the rick house. It's only 2 ricks higher than A and C.
Are their ricks open floor, like between floors? Are they open or are they horizontally?
I honestly can't tell. I mean,
Looks like. Well, I don't know.
I mean, if it's like most ricks, it looks like there's a wall in the center, but it looks like it's probably just open air between all of them. A and C or C is, I guess, 1 rick over
In towards the middle.
and then A is 3 ricks over, and then B is on the outermost. And then, like I said, it's only two barrels higher than A and C. It's crazy how wildly different A and C are, even though they are
like right next to each other.
they're literally sister barrels. They're right next to each other. But any other thoughts?
I mean, I thought A and C were very similar but different. I mean, I thought they, you told me they were next to each other. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, B was just, it just was unique and different from what I know of Knob Creek from other picks I've had from them. So kind of excited we found something a little different. So
I agree. Yeah.
I honestly think it's really good.
I do too.
Yeah, I think that the complexity in that barrel is just phenomenal, and it's so nostalgic. Like that kind of like holiday baking, like cookie. It takes you to a specific place. When a barrel takes you to a specific place in time, I think that's what makes it really, really special.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so let me circle back. I want to make sure I have good notes on B since that's our pick. So I'll read you guys what I have, and if you want to change the order or anything like that, let me know. What I typically did was I typed my notes first, and then I added on to what everyone else said. So if we want to reorder them or anything, that's perfectly fine.
Molly, describe it.
So for nose, I have dark cherry, orange, chocolate, cookies, buttery fresh baked apple pie, salted caramel, toasted walnuts / pecans. Do we want to reorder it at all?
Probably need to pare it down a little bit. Why don't you start by taking the common notes that we all got?
So that buttery fresh baked pie, I think everybody got, right?
On the nose, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think if you call it just holiday baking more than anything, kind of covers everything. Holiday, desserty. Yeah. Definitely pie, though.
Okay. Was I the only one that got chocolate?
I got that on the barrel side of it. I didn't get it so much on the diluted side. I got more of a toffee kind of flavor.
I was gonna say I got it in the palate, but not in the nose.
Okay. Salted caramel, toasted walnuts, and pecans.
I think you need to add the word explosive in there.
I'm still on the nose.
Oh, still on the nose? Okay.
Yeah. So those reworded nose tasting notes: buttery fresh baked apple pie / holiday baking.
I think that's dead on.
Yeah.
no other, we don't want to add anything else?
I think for the nose, that's probably good. I think the palate's gonna be far more important.
Okay. All right, palate. So on the palate, I have soft entry, creamy, chocolate, bright fruit, maybe orange, butterscotch, toffee, over crisp sugar cookies, and peanut butter frosting.
I don't know if anyone other than myself will understand what that means.
I just tried to take down everybody's notes so we had them all together. Did you hear that, Joe?
Yeah, I did hear it. These are the notes we're going to put down, right, for the group.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So I think we kind of need to make sure. I think we should put the common notes, and I think we need to put the notes that people are going to be able to pick out. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with anything that anybody's put in there, but I'd hate to put in there like, I don't know, something completely out there that somebody's not going to pick up. Like if you say caramel delights, I'm expecting caramel delights.
Yeah.
All for us birthday bourbon, you got me super excited about it. I want caramel delights. So if it's not in there, it's going to be like, oh, well, and then you kind of lose a little bit of credibility. So I think we should not necessarily pare it down. Like
pare them down a little.
Keep it somewhere where we can.
Did we all agree it was soft and creamy?
Yes. I did.
Molly,
Yeah.
David?
I mean,
Yes.
my description would be it was just desserty. If you want more of a dessert type.
Yeah, for me, it was definitely like almost like Christmas cookies.
Yeah, I think Christmas cookies is a good description. That's, it's a general description, but it could be a lot of different
Yep.
sides of that.
So I've got soft and creamy dessert, Christmas cookies.
I guess we could be a little bit more vague because this one's pretty complex. I mean, there's so much going on in there.
We can add that and just say very complex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
worry about saying that just because like that's so
basic.
much of an umbrella term. Oh, it's really complex. Well, okay, complexity can mean a lot of different things,
Right.
We could always wordsmith it a little bit, but why don't we just put what we want and then add in there that there's so much going on in it. I mean, there really is, because there really is. I mean, we all got something different out of this one.
Yeah. But we all enjoyed it, I think is
100%.
the key thing. We all picked out something. I mean, there were some similarities, but everybody had some different things, but everybody.
Yeah, like a personal experience that you could tie to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
This was also the only one that shut everybody up.
It sure did.
Kyle was the only one that said, I want to go first.
Because I wanted to get my thoughts out there before I was tainted by anyone else.
For sure.
Okay, and then on the finish, I have long, pleasantly warm, cherry fading to oak.
Sounds about right to me.
No changes to that one?
I think that sums it up pretty good.
Okay. All right. I'll type these in our group chat and send it off to you guys so that you have it. Before we make any idea when this barrel will arrive, Joe?
Other than he needs to turn it in. I mean, Molly, you would know better than I would. I mean,
It's usually between like a 3 and 4 month turnaround. Usually.
right. And obviously we're in 2020, so.
Right. So 6 months.
Yeah, my Buffalo Trace barrel was supposed to be here a month ago. So
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Brian's Yellowstone was supposed to be here 2 months ago. So
3 months ago.
is it 3 months now?
End of August was the original.
Jeez.
Wow.
Fuck, that's 4 months. Right? August, September, November. Yeah. Well, September, October, November, December. Yeah, 4. Skipped a month.
Wow.
Months are hard.
All right. Especially when you do bourbon tasting on an empty stomach.
I made sure I ate.
I'm eating after.
Yeah,
Don't want to take a palate with anything crazy for lunch.
Yeah.
You know?
that's where I was at. I was like, just being in the beer world, eating beforehand would always screw you up. They'd always have like pizza would be garlicky and oniony and all that. But
yeah,
fine.
same. I don't like to do selections after like having eaten because it's just a guaranteed palate record.
There you go, Joe. Guaranteed palate record.
I got most of the same notes most of you guys did.
I don't know if you drank NyQuil with your lunch, but you had that. That was a common theme for you.
a little cold this week.
I didn't get medicinal cherries on. Well, actually, I didn't get medicinal cherries on the barrel proof one, or on either time. And on A proof down I did, but I didn't get it until you told me on A that you got it. But it's like, oh, now that I'm looking for it.
Hey Kyle, I saw someone just text me that that Bourbon Rain bottle I got from you just won some award.
Really?
Yeah, some Vegas award, Proof Awards, whatever that is.
Nice.
It's not like
Place
that.
out of 700 bottles.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
I heard great things about that particular pick. I went there when I went to Kentucky in October and tried kind of they had like a sample flight. Like they had a bunch of shit. I don't know if you're familiar with Starlight. They do a bunch of.
Yeah, I've got a couple friends that got me into it. I've got 4 or 5 picks now, and everything I've had from them has been really good.
Well, see, and everybody says that the ones that maybe I picked the worst ones, but I was so unimpressed. I didn't buy anything.
Really?
So I think you have to take into account when you're talking about these newer distilleries that they're good. I mean, if you're drinking bourbon and you're drinking
different. That's what I liked about it. It was different.
Right. They're never going to be a BTAC or your high end bourbons. And I think when I sit there and people are telling me that, hey, it's fantastic, I'm sitting there thinking, well, it's fantastic. I'm comparing it to my 95 Wild Turkeys, and I'm thinking like, which isn't fair. I mean, so I have to go into those looking at it like, well,
fantastic for what it is.
This is good for what it is. This is good for a compared to baseline bourbon or baseline whiskey. So if you go in there thinking it's going to be BTAC or Pappy or something that's like on another level, you're going to be mistaken.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people end up going, well, that have tried those things end up thinking, well, you said it's fantastic. That means it has to be what I deem fantastic, and I've had BTAC and Pappy. Right. So
I think the Pinhook and the New Riff stuff, it falls directly into that category. A lot of people rave about it, and it's good. But
well, how many of those people haven't had BTAC?
Yeah.
You're talking about $50, $60 bottles versus, or even $100 secondary bottles versus $600, $800 secondary bottles.
Right.
Yeah.
Not even fair to compare the two. I mean, you got unicorns versus something attainable.
Right.
So now would I pay $300 for a Starlight or no?
It's under $100 bottle for me, but
Right. But for what it is and something easily accessible, yeah, it's real good.
I've been discovering some of the finished whiskeys and kind of liking it. I'm doing this Scotch Advent calendar right now, and I'm surprised. I've been liking all the scotches I've had at this point. They're all finished stuff, so sherry, a lot of the sherry cask stuff, and
Man, I'm a sucker for a sherry cask finish scotch.
yeah.
That's where I got my start in scotch, was sherry cask finish.
What I've been surprised so much. It's how fruity some of these scotches can be. Like my only reference points of scotch is like Lefroy 10, which is just like insane heat and brine, right? So that's all I've been expecting every, and it's been fun. It's been a miss through the Casey Whiskey Society and the Midwest Scotch Barons, but it's so it's. You take your notes, put on there's a Facebook group, and then the bottle gets revealed the next day. And it's kind of been fun to see and they're like, oh, I'm put that on the list next time I go into shop. But yeah, so it's kind of changed my opinion on scotch.
Scotch is like wine.
I could probably benefit from one of those, but the scotches that I just don't care for the single malt type flavor profile at all. It's almost universally.
For me, coming from the beer world, it's reminded me a lot more of beer because it's made from barley malt mostly. So I'm very familiar with a lot of those flavors already. So
right, and beer to me, I've never been able to drink beer. I don't know what it is. But one drink is enough to make my stomach just like.
Oh, it's very heavy. I mean, it's carb loaded. Yeah.
I have never cared for it. Never been able to drink it. Joe, I tried the Michter's Toasted rye the other day.
Didn't like it?
Not for me.
Really?
And now it's got that single malt twinge to it to me.
Really? I didn't get that at all. I got a vanilla caramel bomb.
So the nose is
like a French oak finished to it.
The nose is fantastic. I really love the nose. And when I nosed it, I was like, this is going to be fucking awesome. But in the palate, it was too far towards that single malt. Really? I don't know if the really high rye mash.
Well, I mean, it is
I think they disclose it. They source that one or not?
I have no idea.
I know the things they source, but I don't know about the toasted stuff. But it was just enough of the single malt profile for me that I was like,
it didn't register as scotch at all to me in any way.
No, I mean it's not scotch by any means, but like I can pick that single malt profile out of too many things. I think is the problem for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I just thought it was super sweet, like almost desserty, like vanilla caramel bomb. It was, and like I said, with the French oak type finish to it, it was. And I'm a sucker for French oak. Let's be real. So.
No, I keep meaning to pick up that Davies County French oak. Like I have it in my store, and I just haven't bought it yet.
It's good for the price. It's fantastic. I mean, a $40 bottle. I'm like, I can get down with this.
Which bottle?
There's not too many $40 bottles I'm running around just drinking neat and like.
It's the Davies County, David.
Okay.
It's a Lux Road product. Berry Road had some. Berry Road Hy-Vee.
Okay.
The white label's the French oak. The red label's the Cabernet, and then the blue label's just the regular.
Regular, yeah.
And all three of them are actually really good. They're so solid for being the price point they are. So those aren't limited releases, are they?
No, not that I'm aware of, anyway.
Because I originally thought that was supposed to be a limited release. I didn't realize it was actually a full.
I don't think you can just walk in any store and find them by any means.
Right. I mean, I knew they're newer. I didn't know if they were actually going to just continue to produce it, or this was an homage to Davies County.
Yeah, I don't. As far as I'm aware, they're pretty readily available year round.
Mashup of all three is not bad.
You poured them all together?
What was left anyway?
I did a little cuvee myself. It was nice. It was pleasant.
That was fun.
Yeah. So definitely B. Joe, you want to text Brian, let him know so he can get his pick in before we lose it.
Yep. Next.
When's the next one?
Right. I think did he say we're gonna put Rickhouse Casey on this one?
I think we need to. I think there's some things that need to get worked out for.
Okay. Well, it's a good one. I'm happy to put my name on this one.
For sure.
Yeah. It's a fun experience.
Oh, let me make sure I get the right one.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go eat some lunch. I'll
Sounds
type
good.
these up this afternoon, and I'll send them in the Pick Team 6 chat.
All right.
All right. Good time, guys.
Let's meet everyone.
We do this more often.
Yeah. Great.
Hopefully in person soon.
Hopefully
Yeah.
sooner than later. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Talk to you guys later.
All right.
Bye.